Black representatives in Congress voice concerns over impact of tech layoffs on minority workers. So let me just explain what's going on in case some people weren't keeping up with this whole story. So when times were good and all these corpos had a lot of money, what they did was they hired useless bloat pretty much for charity jobs. Like all these diversity quota jobs, they were basically charity. So they hired a lot of useless people just to meet diversity quotas so they can virtue signal. And then the money ran out. And once the money runs out and they need to start laying people off, obviously they're going to lay off the useless diversity quota hires first. They're not going to lay off the useful people who are actually doing work making them money. No, they're going to lay off the charity jobs first. Like, hey, you know what? While the money was rolling in, we can afford to give to charity. But right now we can't anymore. We got to focus on ourselves and our employees. So all the bloat gets fired first. And if that bloat was specifically hired to meet diversity quotas, it's obviously going to look like that minority's most affected, basically. And members of the Congressional Black Caucus have written to the U.S. Acting Secretary of Labor, Julie Su, expressing concerns over the disproportionate impact tech layoffs have on black workers, according to a letter seen by TechCrunch. Yeah, let's just forget that this is a side effect of diversity hiring having a disproportionate effect on them previously, but let's just forget about that. We don't need to talk about that. First reported by The Grio, the letter contains a list of questions regarding the steps Department of Labor has taken to monitor the impact of tech layoffs on African Americans, its regulations around business practices, and what the Department of Labor has done to ensure recent Supreme Court cases are not being used to undermine corporates' diversity and die practices and budgets. Yeah, okay, this is funny. This is hilarious, actually. The courts have basically declared this shit illegal. And they're like, so what are you doing to ignore the courts and keep doing this illegal shit anyway? These are senators, by the way. These are elected officials representing us in our government. And they're basically saying, yeah, ignore the Supreme Court. We're going to keep doing this anyway. So more than 240,000 jobs have been eliminated this year due to layoffs in the tech industry, which was already, it was in a bubble. The bubble just burst. That's all. The worry here is that last in, first out approach to tech layoffs commonly employed at companies may impact new, less senior and non-essential employees who are most likely to be minorities. Yeah, pretty much exactly what I said. People who were only recently hired to meet useless diversity quotas are going to be the first ones gotten rid of because no one needs diversity quota hires. They're laying off the most recent hires, directly impacts groups of people who benefited from new diversity policies implemented in response to heightened race-based conversations in current year -3, the letter said. Yeah, you're telling on yourselves, guys. You're literally fucking telling on yourselves with this one. So we've seen that Black, Brown, and women's tech workers have borne the brunt of the layoffs while companies have enjoyed billion-dollar profits. Missouri Representative Emmanuel Cleaver, co-chair of the CBC, told TechCrunch. Congresswomen's Barbara Lee and I, as co-chairs of the CBC Tech Current Year +2, are asking the administration to take action to address this harmful and problematic trend. Now, I wouldn't be opposed to this. I say hold these companies accountable to their virtue signaling. Force them to hire productive employees to keep on the bloat. It'll make them collapse faster. I'm all for it. The Department of Labor has yet to respond to the letter, which is dated December 15th. A rep for the Department of Labor told us we can confirm that we have received the letter and are reviewing it. Tech and venture industry have faced a downturn the past few years following George Kirby's overdose in current year -3. Many companies made promises to support the Black community, but as the market dipped, diversity pledges have been unfunded and jobs have been cut, and venture capital funding to Black founders continues to dip quarter by quarter. Yeah. Oh, wouldn't it be funny if they forced investors to invest in failing businesses for the purpose of diversity, though? Oh, go ahead, man. The CBC is stepping up. Last week, it wrote to Sam Altman, the OpenAI board, asking the company to move expeditiously in diversifying its board to be inclusive of subject matter expertise with the perspective of the African American community. The OpenAI board currently does not have any women's or people of color. Oh, hell yeah, let's go. We don't want any of these cloud-based AIs to take over. Yeah, dude, Let's lobotomize the centralized cloud-based AI that are going to be censored anyway. So all the people with talent can move towards making, on-premises AIs, open source AIs. Like, that open part of open AI? Wouldn't it be nice if they lived up to it? I mean, but they're not gonna. So fine. Let's just drive all the talented people towards making open source local AIs. That's what we really need.